Yay! Ah, yes, perfect. Okay, so we're just inviting everyone to share where they are in the world and how they would like to feel at the end of our time together today.
Yay, right
And
on. Aloha, everyone. Hey, Becky. Aloha.
yay! Yeah. Oh, good. Australia connected and rooted in. New
Aloha,
Mexico.
Lisa. Brazil.
Yeah.
There's Aishel.
Oh,
Hi, Aishel. Aloha.
hi, Vanessa. Hi, Laura. Yes, Byron Bay, anchor the frequencies.
Yay, Alicia. Aloha.
Beautiful, anchored, empowered,
Aaron.
grounded, amazing, amazing,
Mara.
amazing,
Aloha.
amazing.
Hey, brother.
So good. Look at all of these amazing intentions. So beautiful. Hi, Chintia. Sending you love up there. Yay. Clear. Beautiful. Awesome. I'm loving seeing all of your intentions. And just, I want to say thank you so much, Brother Keone, for choosing to be here with us today to share your ike and your mana'o and your aloha and just, I love you so much.
I
So
love you. Mahalo. Mahalo, Rakai'el.
Yes. Oh, and I just
And
gotta
thank
say,
you.
like,
I just want to say thank you for, creating this platform for all of us to share and, inviting me to share as well. Yeah, this is definitely a profound time happening. I mean, and it's globally. And so, it's so good for us to sort of apply a focus right now in Hawaii on Maui, just because, in addition to what's happening globally, something really profound is happening on the island of Maui. So it's going to be so fun to share exactly what's happening.
I know. Yes. Oh my goodness. This moment feels like such a gift, and I am so incredibly grateful for you and for everyone who is tuning in right now, and for everyone who's watching the replay, and whoever will ever hear these words ever. Thank you so much for being open to receiving these transmissions that are not only coming through the words that we share, but are all just coming through the energies of our being right now. Keone and myself, but all of us. This is happening for all of us right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally in my lifetime, I'm almost 40 years old. I can't think of a moment that the world has really had this opportunity to unite in such a relatable way. We've had 9/11, we've had these things where the world united, but it wasn't as relatable because it didn't affect the world the same way. Of course, 9/11 was very US focused. But now with this organic event that's happening with COVID-19, and it's affecting everyone in the world almost in the same exact way simultaneously. So this is really powerful.
Yes. Yeah. I was joking with someone, not joking, but I was like talking to someone this morning, and I was like, been on this planet for 30,000 years waiting for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just in our doctrines and in Mu or Mu doctrines, Lemurian doctrines, we call this time Hanana, and Hanana is the event. And other cultures around the world, they speak of this too. There's other words for it. They call it the quickening or the sifting time. But this truly is a culmination of this changeover, this age, epic changeover. And really, it must be done as a collective. And that's why, you know, we're being offered now this activation, because everyone must agree to this. Everyone must go into this shift in union. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So speaking of coming together, I'd love to just lead us all in a little meditation just to ground us and to connect us to each other and to the earth below and to the sky above. So, you guys know I totally love seeing all of your hearts, and let's just pause for a moment. And if you're driving, of course, please keep your eyes on the road and be present. And if you're able to, close your eyes, sitting up straight, and just really connecting to your breath. Really taking some deep, full inhales and long, complete exhales. Setting your intention that with every exhalation, anything that might be pulling you out of this moment is released. Exhaling and letting go of anything you had to leave and complete in order to be here. Releasing and letting go of anything that will happen after our time together. And exhaling and letting go of anything that you've been monitoring in the background. Just really taking this opportunity to offer all of these things into the loving arms of all of your ancestors, your angels, your allies, all of those beings that love you unconditionally. Continuing to make space within and around you with every exhale. And then shifting your awareness to your inhale. Setting the intention that with every inhalation, as the breath expands within your body, that your awareness expands throughout time and space, opening to any and all soul fragments of yourself that you may have left scattered at whatever time, for whatever reason. Really feeling this as a simple practice of remembering yourself in this moment. And taking all of this breath, these long inhales and deep exhales, and anchoring that into the center of your heart. You'd like to place your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your lower belly. Just really feeling the inhalations moving into the center of your heart. Feeling the exhales emitting from the center of your heart. Really just taking a moment to feel gratitude for yourself, for taking time out of your day to tune in here. Feeling gratitude for all of your sisters and brothers who are ever going to hear this, who have gathered into this space, who are watching the replay. Feeling so much gratitude for each and every one of us who chose to incarnate here at this time to be beacons of light, to help to facilitate the cosmic shift and planetary transformation that we are all undergoing with so much grace and love. Feeling all of this love and appreciation in your heart, weaving in and out on your inhales and your exhales, and then taking it and rooting it down into the earth. Spiraling your energy down like the roots of a tree, grounding you, anchoring you, connecting you. Feeling the roots of your tree fanning out in all directions, in all spans, going down deep, 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 and down to the in front of and behind and out to the sides. Really this full spectrum root system grounding you down into all the different layers of the earth, all of the different times that you have walked upon this planet, connecting into all of those different layers. And with this central taproot connecting down to the very center of the earth, this iron core, this crystalline core that is the heart of Gaia. Really feeling yourself rooting down, tapping down, connecting in, feeling grounded and anchored, feeling yourself embraced by the arms of Gaia through the force of gravity, pulling you, holding you to her surface. And then allowing that alchemical interchange of that embrace between you and this planet to rise through you, moving up through your chakras, clearing your channel, taking you up into the heavens, feeling your energy spiraling out like the branches of a tree, connecting into the love and support of all of the angels and archangels, ascended masters, ancestors, star family, all of those beings that love you unconditionally. And sending that central tap up through your crown, up into the heavens, connecting you to the center of our sun and connecting you to the great central sun, the star Sirius, feeling Solaris pouring golden light codes down through your crown, feeling yourself transducing these light codes into your being now, if you're open to receiving. And feeling this alchemical fusion of above and below, of sky and earth, of heaven and planet, fusing together in your heart now, creating this alchemical elixir of light and life and love. Taking a deep breath in together. Exhaling completely. From this space of grounded, connected, heart-centered presence, we open our eyes together. Oh, thank you so much, sisters and brothers, and thank you, Keone, for helping to ground and open that channel. Yes, hearts if you're back. There we go. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Awesome. So, where should we start?
Yeah. Where shall we start? You know, this discussion really began when I reached out to Rakai'el, and I run every day, and one of the my favorite runs is next to the Leina O'a'a, or the Stargate of Sirius. And so in our tradition, this mountain has I suppose a dried up waterfall that's not running. And in our lore, we know that this star portal to Sirius, or A'a, is what we call it in the language, A'a. We know that the portal, or the Leina, is open if there's water running down this waterfall. And it's been dry for quite some time. And when I was running past it, I always greet it. I always aloha, but this time in particular, it was very peculiar because my left leg totally went out. I couldn't even move it. It was numb. And so I had no choice but to pause, to ume, and just pause. And it was right there in front of the Leina. And in that moment of pause, of just stillness, I got the download that it was saying, there's going to be a brief activation. Let them know. Let them know. And it was really kind of profound because, you know, we're expecting this Kona storm. If you live in Hawaii, you know that Kona storms are incredibly rare, but they bring a lot of energy, and this energy will sit on the islands for some time. So we're now just awaiting for this Kona storm to embrace us. And so, of course, in alignment with A'a, with this Leina giving me this disclosure that this is going to happen, I was like, wow, of course it's going to align with the Kona storm. So I reached out to the first person I thought of was Rakai'el, was you, because we had worked last year when you did your retreat. And many of you who are on now were at that retreat. So you're kind of akamai, or aware of what we're talking about, you know, cultivating and fostering the activation of this Stargate, this Leina. And I really want to just do it really quickly because I could go on and on about this. The significance of A'a, or Sirius, to the ancient Mu, or the Lemurians, is that the magnetic pull of Sirius to this planet, this solar system, is what we believe determines ages, or what we call Va, or epics here. So the closer the approach of Sirius, which it is now making a closer approach, determines if we're in a golden age. And many of you who perhaps have studied, you know, some of the Ike, the knowledge of India, know about the Kali Yuga and these yugas, right? And of course, the Mayans also share these times as well. But so the further away Sirius is to this planet or this solar system, the darker the age. Now it's making an approach. So we're, you know, being privy to this this golden age. And so when I mentioned this to Rakai'el, in the midst of coronavirus and the what's happening on this global level, Rakai'el, you know, really tapped into, yeah, this is really allowing a global community to just pause, to just ume, whether it's through quarantine, being mandatory quarantine, or just many people are now recommended to just stay home. People are just recommended to just pause, just pump the brakes. So sister, do you want to sort of like explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So yeah, from this same timing of like what had been happening for me personally a couple of days before, and then the day that you called me, the night before, I had been just like, whoa, like I feel really great. Like I don't know what is going on, but I am feeling really fantastic. And I had done a lot of work. I feel like I had also had this like massage where it was like deep psoas work, and I was like really akamai, as you say, that this was not just me. It was like, you know, the sacral area of like releasing all of this tension for the collective, and not resisting it. And so that was what had been happening in my physical body that the day before. Then the day that you called me, I'd been in my yoga class that morning, and after Savasana, I was sitting in meditation, and all of a sudden I felt this like full spectrum 12 for our 12 chakras, the upper ones that have been deactivated that are now coming back online. I felt this full channel of all of these 12 golden sacred geometric forms fully activated. And I also felt before then and during then just the real presence of angels, and just like this angelic realm really coming in And it's like when I was on the table for the massage and, you know, I'm going through this really intense, like, letting go. And what I said to my therapist at that time was like, I feel like all of my guides and all of my ancestors are here with me, and they're all like, we've got you, we're holding you, you can release, you don't have to tense up, you know, you can just let this go. And so I felt that in a much larger level. So then when you called me and you told me that you had this experience and you were, you know, just having some reevaluation about what you should do, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it's because there is this light wave moving through the collective. Some people call these, like, I don't know if it's the same thing, but there's like plasma waves that come through, or the Schumann resonance of the earth shifts, or sometimes there are solar flares, but different waves of frequency of energy that come through. And so I was like, oh my goodness, that's what's happening for us. And on whatever level it is for us, whether it's through mandatory quarantine or through just self-quarantine, or just doing less, you know, just taking a time to honor this, we're really being asked and invited to be still. Because, right, it's like if I was getting a massage on that table and I was like squirming around all over the place, like I wouldn't have been able to receive the depth of the healing that was coming through. So that's where it's like, yeah, I think we're really being invited to hold ourselves so that we can receive. Oh yeah, and the other thing that I was saying to you was that now that everybody has all of their supplies and they have all of these things gathered around them that they might need, there is that kind of, you know, sense of, okay, I have everything that I need now. Now I can relax and whatever people are doing, watching Netflix or watching us. But there's this relaxation and kind of opening that can happen when you have all of the toilet paper that you need.
Yeah. And I think, you know, someone just asked in there, what is being disclosed? What kind of knowledge is being disclosed? And, you know, just like taking it back to how or Sirius takes us into different ages. It determines the shifts of ages. And, you know, I spoke of this in a couple, if you're following me on Instagram, a couple days ago, about the significance of COVID-19. You know, 19 means to realign with universal spiritual law. So this is a purification. And just as Rakai'el was saying, you know, for us to be able to be in a space of pause, in order to first receive, and then thus purify ourselves with the knowledge that is being disclosed to us. That means this requires that we must ground it. And today on my Instagram, I spoke about the function of a mystic. Okay, and I know many of you really resonate with the mystic and our mystics. And the way that it was taught to me by the kupuna, the elders, is that, and who embodied it, you know, I was witness to this, is a mystic is one who may travel to all dimensions, and grounded here in this dimension to make it practical, to make it relatable. So universal spiritual law, which is being gifted to us again, full disclosure, regardless of how uncomfortable it may seem, because it will be a violation to this current narrative of survival, defense, and Rakai'el and I call this the culture of control. So a dismantling of control and being purified by this Ike, and then grounding this knowledge, this Ike, making it relatable, will usher in a golden age. And, you know, like fundamentally, This is all so incredibly simple that I feel like it's just going over so many people's heads, because this is a culture where we are stimulated by crisis hysteria. And I believe that's why nature and the natural world presented it to us in such a way of this virus. It's because if looking at a tree and observing how a wind moves the leaves of a tree, if that's not stimulating enough, if that does not offer you full disclosure, then we will need to translate that in a language to which you understand. And in a current culture of control, if hysteria is the language to which you understand, here's the material. Okay, here's a virus to stimulate you, to enact, to encourage you to pause. Finally, pause and to receive. And in a feminine shift, this is what many cultures around the world say about the skill of a feminine shift, is to receive. So we must receive that to which Sirius is now offering us, okay, the memory, the disclosure of universal spiritual law, and then to ground it. It's very significant.
Seriously. Yes, yeah. And so many people have also been tuning in to the connection between the water.
Yeah.
That there's so much about the water, right? Because, and I want to just go back a little bit, because there's been this kind of, for many years, and just now becoming more and more relevant, or not relevant, but more and more visible to us, is that there's been this, from my understanding, this kind of like series of Lemurian disclosures that is like taking us to a certain place. And so, yeah, do you want to share about when the volcano erupted and the disclosure that happened with that in 2018?
Well, I believe that exactly what you're talking about disclosure coming through like a wave, a program, because otherwise it's too overstimulating, and so it's very gentle in its disclosure, and it encompasses all elements of the earth, like when the volcano erupted and it shot the sulfur into the ether, into the air. That was an activation. Yeah, it was an activation in the ethers, in the air, and the volcano itself was very earth activation, adding new land to the Big Island. And it's very significant, because this is happening in what remains of the central point of the ancient continent of Lemuria. So it's truly ground zero of this disclosure. And now with the activation of a Leina, with a Stargate that requires water to activate it. Remember that waterfall, it requires the trickle of that water. So now we're having that activation of water. And I want to share with you a prayer in the ancient language, okay, that talks about how significant water is in relation to a shift of an age. Okay, so I'll say it in the Mu language, and then I'll translate it in English. Ikshe at naina, ate apo, tekai mai la orihi o leva, ikshel harat matves, iho mai tawa leva, mere ra anui et Hawaii, et Haida, et Hokkaido, e lat nakwa e lainta shiksi arat noa. Lakavai amara a. Okay, that language in itself is an activation. Just integrate. Okay, so the translation. From the junction, okay, to fasten the hoop. The stars still stand in the upper space, and the transcendence remains wide and free. Coming is a dark cloud in the rainbow. At the point of Hawaii, of Haida, of Hokkaido, courage is now required to become free of the involvement. Breaking away is the water in reverence of Sirius. So this is prophesized. This is prophesized. When that water is activated, that portal is open, full disclosure is upon us. What is your capacity to ground it? Okay, you're gonna have to be very clear about that, especially if you consider yourself a mystic. Okay, you have kuleana, you have responsibility to ground this ike, to ground this knowledge, to make it relatable, not just for yourself, but for a collective who is now addicted to hysteria. How are we gonna show up for our brothers and our sisters who are thrown in hysteria, in crisis? Okay, let's ground it. Let's ground it. Let's ground our brothers and our sisters as we ground ourselves. It is our birthright and our destiny to now ascend into a golden age, whatever that golden age looks like, whether it's here on Earth or we are to totally transcend, such as the Mayans, to a totally different dimension, and the Zuni. We don't know. That's the beautiful thing about mystery. All we can do is be present now and to be akamai aware that knowledge is upon us, and it is our kuleana to ground it, transfer it into something that is relatable.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. And I think too, it's really bringing the starlight to Earth. You know, it's like really like this is our, from my understanding, like from my perspective, this is, we bring this starlight down to the Earth, and it is through that starlight accessing the Earth through us. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that wave coming in, but the wave, it's like a wave coming like above us, and we have like pulling it down. And then as we pull it down, and it's like we're like, you know, the shining ones, right? We're filled with this light in all of ourselves, and every footstep that we take, every time we lay our bodies on the ground, every time we pray to the earth, that is bringing that starlight frequency down into Gaia and into all of the plants and all of the stones and all of the trees and all of the elemental beings that have been here for eons, from the beginning of the forming of this planet. They unlock, and they open, and they release information. So it's not just that this information is up there, and like we should hope for the day when we no longer have to be on this earth plane, because like that's not the dissociative story. It's like, no, we're in, it's the only way up is down.
yeah, sister. And you know, I just read someone said it seems like a fusing of elements, and that's exactly what it is. You know, when we make all things relatable, it's a fusing of all things. Okay, it's a collapse of separation is what's happening. And you know, okay, so what you're talking about, Rakai'el, is the power of gravity. So there's only one thing in this reality which is considered atemporal. Atemporal means that it is not affected by time, it's independent of time, and that is gravity. So in order to resolve time, we must go through gravity, through density. And this is what Sirius teaches us, and this is why its magnetic effect takes us through ages, because what it's essentially doing is pulling us through the density of ages. So as you're saying, we're grabbing that with what we call in the ancient language aka. It is a cord, a channel. Grabbing that, pulling it into density, whoosh, pulling it in. Yes. Pulling it in and through.
Yes. And then so one thing, just as a not a proof, but as an example of this happening, the person that I get, I don't know if you guys are going to hear the moped that's pulling out back there, but movement. So the Lemurian crystals that have been coming out of the earth, I am witnessing them becoming progressively more clear, more defined, more light filled, because it used to be, I mean, I remember my very first Lemurian crystals that I took to the Big Island back in 2014, and there were these kind of cloudy things, you know, and that now the stones that are coming out of the earth are like prismatic, like there's a pristine clarity that is coming through. And so to me, that's what that is saying, is that the Lemurian ancient wisdom that has forged the civilizations of Atlantis, of Egypt, of Avalon, of the Mayans, of like all of these civilizations have been fractalized versions of the manifestation, and that we're now ready, that the earth is now ready to disclose these Lemurian codes to us more clearly because we're ready.
Yes, yes. And that's reaffirming purity. Now, what is purity but innocence? We're reaffirming our innocence. Now, from the space of my innocence, that's where I radiate. That's how I radiate. So, you know, when something is cloudy, you put a light through it, you attempt to put a light through it, it doesn't really radiate. It doesn't have an effect. But yet, when it's pure, when we've located the innocence, you shine that same light through that, and it just radiates. And I had to make a very conscious decision, just like one day, simultaneously. I said, I no longer allow the exterior conditions to determine my experience here. Rather, I will exude and radiate, and I will influence and inspire the external conditions with that radiance. First and foremost, I had to locate my innocence. And I decided my innocence. I no longer sought permission, approval from anyone else. You know, and I say this often, you know, when I share and say my sovereignty, my truth, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. You know, so this is a time of great sovereignty. And trust yourself, trust ourselves to radiate and exude innocence determined by self.
Yes. 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 And this I think too is so much too about this idea that we're not in control of our bodies. You know, that it's like this illness is coming in and we're victim to it. Yeah. And it's like, it's really, there is this real invitation for us to take the next step up in the spiral and say, no, I am the sovereign who is the overseer of the codes that my DNA choose to activate or not, right? And so it's like, you know, it's like I always say, it's like, you know, we're in this amphitheater and it's like the Superdome. It's like filled with all of these seats and it's completely filled with all of your cells. And they're in there typing away, coding all of the proteins, and they're just reading out the transcript from your DNA. And they're like, okay, like this is supposed to happen. Here we go. And we, all of us, are sitting in the stage and there's a microphone and it's on. It's all of the thoughts, everything that you think to yourself. So as you are going out and you are, you know, buying your supplies or you're taking your immune boosting things, it's just there is an invitation for us to say, I am choosing to take this because I love myself, because this is strengthening to me, not because I am afraid I am going to get sick. You know, because there's this thing where it's kind of like, you know, your body is like, well, we only drink the echinacea tea when we're sick. So you're giving us the echinacea tea now. So is something going on that we should know about? And so, right. So really being clear about what our intentions are, and making these vocal decrees. Someone was asking, like, how can we ground this in? And it's like grounding it into your physical body as much as it is grounding it into the earth. Because your physical body is the earth.
Yes. 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 Yeah, sister. You know, the human avatar, the avatar of all sentience, we are conduits to express and transfer the energy of God. I mean, it doesn't get more blessed than that. And the level of trust that was offered us from this thing called God, or the singularity, Kame'anana Ihana, the level of trust to be offered this in a world of free will is incomprehensible. So choose your words wisely, choose your intentions wisely. Know that you are transferring the energy of something so incredibly sacred. So locate your innocence, your purity. Reference innocence and purity as you transfer the sacred energy.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. And really, I think working with, so I want to just like let you know and me know and everyone know we have like maybe 9 minutes left. So maybe a little bit longer, because we were actually like a couple of minutes late. So we might have 9 to 15. We'll see. So, but really, so I love what you always share with us about how in the morning, say to yourself, you know, I am safe.
Yes.
You know, my physical body is not in danger. And you say that out loud, right?
I do. It's a proclamation, and everything around me is witness.
And so in that, so I'm just seeing this question here. So for the people who do feel afraid, so how does that work with this? Okay,
so now safety and security are two different things. Okay, this is something really important that all of us must really be akamai of. Okay, so security can mean money and a house and shelter and food and water, but safety means that I am suspended within my own knowing. I am suspended within my purpose, my kiakahi, and that is what guides me. So when I say I am safe, that is a proclamation of me saying I'm in recognition of my kiakahi, my purpose. Today and all days, I will apply my energy, my focus on proliferating, sharing, integrating that which is my purpose, my kiakahi. That is foundation. Then I can examine security. So that's truly how I'm guided from day to day, is first, am I in recognition of my purpose? That's first and foremost, sister.
Yes. Yeah. And I think too, it's really important. I love that you're discerning between safety and security, because it's like, as most of us are in our homes, and even if we have a common cold, because it's that time, it may happen. But to really take this to the foundational level, and to be like, is my physical body in danger right now? Right now. Because the fact of it is, right, it's like that most of us who have healthy immune systems, and even those who have compromised immune systems, it's not a death sentence, right? It's like most of us, if we did contract the virus, we might have the flu, we might, have a cold, and that doesn't mean that our physical lives are in danger. Right. So it's like really taking this down to, it's like whatever you see on the news or read on the internet, you got to take a minute and be like, okay, here, present moment,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's an addiction to survival and defense. Now, if I'm in perpetual survival and defense, that means I'm looking for threats and I'm looking for suspects. So that means everyone around me is a suspect and everything around me is a threat. So that's already deemed. So I'm already hoarding my resources. I'm hoarding my capacity to bond with others. Now, traditionally, when I was in survival and defense, I had absolutely no capacity for intimacy. None. And this included with myself. I was so distracted with detecting threats and suspects. And if I couldn't find any, I created it. You know, that's the pathological and the habitual when it comes to survival and defense. So when I'm reaffirming my safety, and I love what you just said, is that in this moment, is my life in danger? No, no, I am safe. I decide I have located my innocence, my purity, my kiakahi, my purpose. I can be held in that. Yes, that is what grounds me. That is my purpose, what makes me relatable here and now. That is the tools to which I will express and radiate. Now, once we all radiate, that is our force field. That is our force field. If I'm not radiating, of course, I'm susceptible to accumulate data, to accumulate the opinions of others, the roles and identities, the assumptions of others. And I love to say this, but you know, I did that for a very long time where I was hoarding all my energy. I wasn't radiating. So my brothers and my sisters had no choice but to make assumptions of who I am, but I'm here now. So I will clarify. I'm here now. And thank you. And I love you. I apologize for being ambiguous my whole life, but I'm here now. So I will clarify.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah. And just and just one more thing, and then I want to talk about what people can do. No, we can just talk about what people can do. So there are many opportunities to share things. No scarcity. So one thing that I have found to be extremely and extraordinarily helpful in so many ways is, well, two things here. So one is energetic cord cutting, right? You know, clearing, doing any kind of cord cutting. And this is like, there's no science to it. You know, you can say, as soon as I drink this water, any and all cords and connections between myself and anybody else that I've interacted with and may have corded with will be cleared. And then you drink and so you've made this verbal proclamation. This is what I want to key into, is that you say these things out loud. Your cells hear them, right? You remember they're there reading the codes and they're typing and they're programming and they're doing the things. But when you take the mic and you're like, by the power of my mighty I am presence with my higher self as a witness, I do hereby invoke and claim my power as the sovereign creator of my reality, and I give my cells permission to radiate light, to release the codes of vitality and empowerment and sovereignty and life force and health and well-being. And I give my cells permission to do this now. And I give my cells permission to transmute anything that might be in my field, energetically or physically, that is not in alignment with my highest good and the most vitality radiating from my heart, to transmute that into something that is beneficial for my highest good and all beings everywhere. Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is.
And so it is. And that's the whole kukala. That's the proclamation. And, you know, this is how we empower ourselves, as we make these proclamations and then we take it a step further and we embody it. Okay? Yes. Embody it, make it relatable. Okay? I've told you who I am. Now allow me to show you. Okay? Here's the results. And that's truly the key. And that's what makes a powerful mystic. I saw on here, a brother asked, how does one determine purpose? So I'm going to speak from a personal, how I did it. So there are two things I did, okay? One is I located that which nourishes me. What in my life has historically nourished me or nourishes me right now? Okay, what has offered me joy? What has offered me inspiration? Okay, so I have to be very clear about that which nourishes. At the same time, I am very clear about that which puts me in deprivation or that which has harmed me. Okay, so I have to be clear about that as well. Now I apply all my focus to that which nourishes me. And that is how I make my ho'okukala, just as you did. My proclamation. This is my proclamation, and I embody it. I take it through a series of 2 steps. 1, whatever nourishes me, however I'm going to express that. However I'm going to express that as a kukala, as a proclamation. First, do I believe in it? Fundamental question. Is it even mine, or am I imitating? Okay, because this is a world of imitation right now. So, do I believe in it? Feel that? If I censor myself, I don't believe in it. Okay, we have to be very clear about that. If I censor myself, I do not believe in it. If I'm censoring myself, make corrections. Okay, make corrections. Then go through the process again. All right, I made the corrections. Do I believe in it? Yeah. I have not censored myself. Then I take it through the second step, which is, do I have faith in it? Mm-hmm. Do I have faith in it? Can I be held in it without resistance, without shame, without conformity, without doubt? Am I certain about this? If I go through those 2 steps with absolution, I'm proclaiming my truth. I've shown up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And I would say that there are many things that we're trained to do. And this is the process of deprogramming all of that. So it's like you come up against like, ooh, that's what I've been programmed to do because I've abdicated my sovereignty mm-hmm. to my parents, my culture, my friends, my coworkers, what I think is right, what I think a good person does. And you get to a point where you go through every single thing and you say, is this actually coming from inside of me or is this coming from somewhere else? And when it's coming from somewhere else, you have to excavate that. You have to go into the encodements that you've been programming into your DNA for lifetimes, and you got to be like, and now we do the psychic surgery. That was my parents. This was the culture control. And you forge your new codes through reprogramming. You have to deprogram and then reprogram. So that's where you get to decide that you no longer just drink down the concept of what anybody else tells you that you have to do in order to live a good life. Because it's like, I thought at one point that I had to do like a corporate job. I was working at General Electric doing web design, and it was killing me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I drove out that parking lot when it was done, screaming at the top of my lungs because I was finally free. And then I decided I will not subjugate myself. I will not pay or play into that story of what this culture has told me that I have to do to make money. No, I'm going to make my own prosperity. I'm going to make up things and sell them on the internet. You know, it's like we have complete and total more power than we ever thought. And after this in here, I'm just like on a rant. I also, you guys, used to have, and you too, right? Both of us had illnesses or circumstances that were health situations that we were told would be, in my case, that I would have this autoimmune disease for the rest of my life. Yeah. And for you, that you would have an illness that would just take your life.
Yeah.
And so, and both of us were like, fuck No. I have a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
I have a bigger mission. I am here for more than that, and I will harness that, and I will choose my own life regardless of what the doctors say. Who is this authority? I'm sorry, no longer playing that game.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is exactly where we're at right now with COVID-19, is everyone is being offered a choice. We are at the point of breaking as a collective. Our lives may be extinguished. So now, will I stay or will I go? If I stay, I have to show up. I have to embody. And guess who decides? Me. I decide. And I will clarify so there's no confusion. Yeah.
Woo! 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 Oh, high-fiving everybody who was here for that.
Boom.
Yeah. Yes, feeling a real shift inside. Let it happen, you guys. Like I said from the very beginning, it's opening ourselves to these frequencies that are not just the words that are coming through us, not just the energies that are embodied in our human physical forms, but there is a wave. There is a frequency that is coming here that is for your good and in your favor, divinely inspired and decided by you to occur, so that we can all transition to the next level together.
Yeah. Yeah. So with Sirius opening the star portal, we are being disclosed to this cosmic spiritual law. Allow yourself to be grounded to receive it. Okay? You, as a sovereign being, may translate it without the approval of anyone else.